I was once one of the best players on an elite division hockey team that was the pride of our Scandinavian town. As a hockey star, I received many invitations to all sorts of events and agreed to model in a fashion show. To my great delight, a very beautiful blonde girl and I were to be the bride and groom in the grand finale of the show. The lovely girl, Anna Landgren, and I, David Erickson, had a great time at the after-show party. In fact, so good that I found her in my bed the next morning, and we continued to share that bed every night after that. It was an enjoyable time for Anna and I because we were invited to a lot of great events and parties. Anna enjoyed it very much. When we wanted to get married, there was a problem. I had a nice house, a decent amount of money, shares in several successful companies, and an expensive car, while Anna only had clothes and lots of shoes. After several arguments, I got Anna to agree and sign an agreement stating that everything we owned before the wedding would remain the owner's private property. Anna finally agreed because the main reason for our big wedding was lifelong true love, not a lucrative divorce. We had a good marriage until a few weeks ago when Anna started avoiding sex on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday nights under strange excuses. At first I didn't care, but then I asked her if something was wrong and she denied everything. It was one of those days when I was in a bad mood because everything had gone wrong the day before, and Anna had once again denied me sex. Even the weather was bad, cold, windy, and rainy, and that added to my bad mood. Back at work, after a boring, bland lunch with a grumpy coworker, I found that I had forgotten some important notes I needed for work at that very moment. The only thing left to do was to go home and get them. At home, I got a strange feeling that something was wrong in the kitchen, and it took me a while to realize what it was. I noticed that my wife, Anna, who was obviously home, had brought the mail from the mailbox and put it on the work table where she usually unfolded it when she got home from work around 3 o'clock. The mail was still a little wet from the rain, so she must have been home a little before I was. Since our relationship wasn't on the up and up that day and she never came home during work hours, I was curious if she had rejected my attempts at sex the previous evening because she had slept with someone else on her lunch hour. An inspection of our bedroom revealed that everything was exactly as I'd left it that morning. But a quick glance into the spare bedroom left me astonished. There was a gold-plated lighter lying on the brown carpet under the bed. Neither Anna nor I smoke, and it was clear that a smoker had been in that room probably no more than half an hour before me. Now I had a strong suspicion and decided to find out what Anna was up to, so I put the lighter where it was found. No one smoked in the house, and if Anna's guest was a woman, she kept the lighter in her purse, and it was unlikely that she had any reason to take it out of there. So all indications were that the lighter belonged to a man and had fallen out of his pocket while he was doing something on the bed in the spare room. It wasn't hard to guess what it was. Back home from work, the evening went on as usual, but neither of us mentioned being home during the day. When Anna plugged in the show she usually watched, I went to the spare room and found that the lighter had disappeared from the floor, but wasn't lying anywhere I could see it, neither in the spare room nor in the kitchen. Toward evening, I pretended that I had some important work to do before I went to bed. So Anna had gone to bed before me and was already asleep when I got to the bedroom. I undressed, but instead of going straight to bed, I crept into the kitchen and then into the hallway, where Anna's purse lay in its usual place. A quick glance into it revealed that the lighter was now in her purse. Undoubtedly, Anna was involved in something with someone, and I intended to find out exactly what it was. My suspicions were heightened when I checked her bag again the next evening and the lighter was gone. A couple weeks ago, there was a folder in the mailbox with emails from a locksmith and an alarm store about their alarms. I was interested in a small alarm detector with a camera the size of a smoke detector. It had a prepaid cell phone card and could send alarm messages and pictures to a cell phone. The next day, I bought this device along with 2 smoke detectors almost the same size. Everything was battery-operated, so installation would be easy on a Saturday when Anna needed to run some errands for her parents and the kids were outside. A check showed that everything worked better than expected, and when Anna returned, she didn't mind when I simply told her that we had talked about smoke detectors at my work, and it was obvious that we needed a few more for acceptable protection. I set the alarms to be active Monday through Friday, starting when I left the house and ending when Anna would come home before the kids came home from school. For the first Monday and Tuesday, Everything worked fine. Then on Wednesday, things went haywire and the alarm went off a few minutes after noon. The little pictures on my cell phone showed Anna and a man kissing in our hallway. The worst possible thing was clearly happening in my house, and the only possible way for me to deal with this situation was immediate action. If Anna and that man were sleeping in the spare room, then hopefully they were still in the act when I got home and rushed over with my camera to gather evidence of my dear wife's secret pleasures. Sure, they might have been engaged in perfectly innocent activities, but their kiss indicated something far from that. Picking up speed, it took me almost 10 minutes to reach the house, and I left the car outside so it wouldn't be visible from the window of the spare room. I crept into the house as quietly as possible and heard nothing from either the kitchen or the living room. The spare room door was closed, but as I got closer, I heard some muffled noises from there. My camera was set to automatic mode, taking 9 pictures every time I pressed the button. I took a deep breath, quickly picked up my camera, opened the door, and walked into the room. I was prepared to see the worst, and that's exactly what I saw. Anna, who was still wearing her blue top, was lying on her back with her legs spread. A male silhouette towered between Anna's legs. He was wearing a bright yellow t-shirt, so they looked like a Ukrainian flag. My appearance took them by surprise, and I took a second series of 9 shots before tucking the camera away in my pocket. I then took a few steps toward the bed and gave the still surprised man several very hard blows to the face. Apparently, I had brought him to his senses because he made no attempt to resist as I dragged him off his screaming wife. I managed to carry him to the door and throw him out of the house without too much trouble, probably because I gave him a few more blows on the way. Back in the spare room, my now loudly crying wife put on her little black lace panties and pulled up her pants. I said to her, "Sexy dressed lover, come out and clean up that damn trash I put out. Get out of here and get it off my property." My sobbing wife tried to tell me the standard nonsense for such cases. "I'm sorry, and I can't explain how this could have happened because I didn't do it intentionally. I promise you this was the first and last time I do something so stupid. Please forgive me." I picked up her lover's pants from the floor, ran my hand into my right side pocket, pulled out a gold-plated lighter, held it out to her and said, "Don't lie to me, bitch, because I know for a fact that today was the same procedure that happens every week in this room." When Anna saw the lighter, she realized that I had seen it a week ago and had made a valid point about why it was under the bed. Now she screamed, "Oh my God!" Anna's lover was a co-worker of hers named Richard Gillendahl. I met him and his very beautiful wife at a dinner hosted by one of Anna's bosses. A glance at his driver's license found in his wallet told me everything was correct. It even showed that he was 8 years younger than Anna. After that, I told Anna to go out to Richard with his clothes. She did so, and a few minutes later they left in her car. I called work and told them I would stay home for the remainder of that day and a few hours the next. My marriage was in pieces, so I had no reason to let that cheating asshole Richard live in a happy marriage with his beloved wife. Action had to be taken as soon as possible. Despite the strong temptation to sit in the most comfortable chair with a bottle of raw Jack Daniel's Rockstar whiskey that I had won in a raffle at my job, I decided to fix the necessary things first and leave the sadness for later. The first order of business was to upload the camera shots. While most of them were okay when viewed in the camera, one of the last pictures was great on the computer screen. It showed both faces. It was a very humbling picture for both of them. The second thing I did was to call the bank where Richard's wife worked. When she answered my call, I simply told her the truth about what Anna and her husband were doing in the spare room. She gave me her email address and I sent her a picture. My next step was to find a list of phone numbers and email addresses of employees at Anna's work, which I knew she kept somewhere in our house. It turned up in one of her drawers. I sent the picture to 10 important people in the office where Anna and Richard worked. The first of the expected phone calls came 10 minutes later. It was a call from Richard yelling, "What the hell are you bloody idiot doing? Rest assured I'm going to make you regret this." I replied, "What the hell are you doing? You made a big mistake and you have to pay for it." He shouted again, "I'm going to sue you." "Why the hell are you whining? You want Anna? You got her and you can keep her forever." He hovered. The next call was from a crying Anna. "How can you be so cruel to me?" My reply was short. "Who's cruel? Don't you think it's a cruel humiliation for me to discover my wife cheating on me in my own home? It's a damn cruel humiliation." Anna ended the call. Sure, sending out photos of cheaters to a lot of people was unpleasant, but I didn't regret what I had done, simply because I didn't see any options for revenge. I fought for my reputation. I worked hard to become the star of our hockey team, respected for never stepping out of line, no matter how famous or rude the players we faced. Although it had been several years since my last game, I was still very popular with our team's fans and our younger players. A man to look up to, a man who through hockey had gotten everything a young hockey player could ever dream of. If I had let some asshole screw my beautiful wife and not avenged it, my reputation would have gone from being an admired sports star to a pathetic wimp and a laughingstock. Not my way of playing games. The problem wasn't that I'd been too hard on Anna and Richard. No, the problem was whether my actions were harsh enough for the public to consider them acceptable revenge. Although the tiny picture for sex had only been mailed to 11 people, I was sure that within a short time the whole town would know about it. Then a third phone call rang. It was Anna's mother, who said that Anna was a mess at her house and would be staying there for a while, so it fell to me to take care of the kids. After that, she started blaming me for what I had done to Anna. I promised that I would take good care of our children, although no one knew for sure if I was their real father or not. As for Anna, I told her that she should ask her own whore daughter why she had such a problem. My mother-in-law had never liked me, and this phone call was unlikely to reinforce her positive feelings about me. Later that evening, I received a fourth call about Anna's cheating. It was Marie Gillendahl asking what I intended to do and if I had any more pictures. I promised to send her all 18 pictures and told her that I planned to get a divorce because cheating on my wife could hardly be construed as a one-time affair. Marie said Richard admitted that his affair with Anna lasted 5 weeks and had sex in my house 7 times, and Marie sees no way to avoid divorce in her and Richard's marriage. A few minutes after Marie's call, the doorbell rang and Anna's mother appeared on the doorstep. I let her in and she told me that Anna would stay with her for a week so that I could have a chance to calm down. I replied that I was cool as a cucumber and would file for divorce the next day because I now knew for a fact that Anna had been sleeping with Richard in my house for at least 5 weeks, but probably much longer. Anna's mother turned pale and stopped her nagging of me when she saw the photo of Anna and Richard naked. Epilogue. Anna slept in the spare room, or sex chamber as I called it, for 3 months until Richard and her found the apartment they were renting together. As you might expect, they became the laughingstock of our town for a while, but such things don't last forever because old scandals are always replaced by new ones, although Anna still gets invitations from tipsy, horny men who usually tell her that a wonderful girl like her needs something better and bigger than what her ill-equipped lover can give her. I have bought a new house that is being built in a Lakeview neighborhood, and I'm going to put this old house on the market to make a good profit. Although Anna has behaved like a whore to me, she is a good mother, so she and I have shared custody of our children. A DNA test confirmed that I am their father. I'm single, and I still miss Anna like hell, so I haven't made any serious attempts to find someone to replace her. One thing is for sure, I will never take Anna back, even though Anna says that Richard and her should break up in the near future. Anna admitted to her best friend that her affair with Richard was a terrible mistake that she will regret for the rest of her life, and that living together with him is a miserable life compared to the good life with a married family.